Hey everybody, welcome back to FSP Forex Stock Predictions. Hope you're all having a great Monday. I am the Vortex Trader, and today we are beginning a brand new awesome video series which will help all the newbie traders out there learn the correct information. And the first video series that we will be doing is a series entirely devoted to support and resistance. That's it. There's going to be a good couple of videos out about this, so please remember to hit that like and subscribe button so you can be notified when we update and upload the following videos. All right, as always, let's jump into the charts, which is empty because this is where we will be drawing our information on. Right, let's get to it. So, what is support and resistance, right? We hear these terms all the time. We always hear the word support, we hear the word resistance. What does it mean, right? Let's make two words here so we can explain it better. We got one for resistance, and then we're going to make another one for support. Support, and we will put this one, make this color blue. Okay, so we have the word support, we have the word resistance. How does it help us in trading or investing? What do these words mean? So when we say the price of something is at support or the price of something is at resistance, okay, it literally means it is at a point on the price chart where the price is battling to break through. Okay, so let's take this line for example. Okay, there we go. Okay, let's put another line over here underneath the word resistance. All right, so we have one line above support. Now, price bounces around, right? It doesn't go in one direction all the time. It bounces around various levels. Okay, it does its thing. It goes up, then it comes down, or it just trends sideways. Okay, but there are points in the price where the price actually reverses and hits certain levels. And when it does this, and it does something that looks like this, it hits a level and it bounces off of it, yes, and then it comes back down to the level, and then it bounces off of it again, right? This is a level of support. Okay, why? Because price is struggling to break through this area. So we call this support. It's supported by this price. All right, now we can say the same thing for resistance. Okay, when price is moving upwards and it hits a wall, so to speak, a price wall, okay, and it bounces off this wall and it comes back down again and it carries on, it tries to push through this wall again, but it doesn't, it gets stopped right at that wall and it comes back down again. This is a wall of resistance. It's resisted there. The price cannot push further. So this is what we mean by support and resistance. And when we see price bouncing between two areas of support and resistance, this is exactly what it is. We have support on the bottom, we have resistance on the top, and we have price in between struggling to break through. So whenever you hear the words support or resistance, it works for any market. If you hear the words that Bitcoin is struggling to break resistance, right? Now you know that Bitcoin is struggling to break a certain price point on the chart because there is too much resistance. Yes, the sellers come in at that price point and push the price down. Okay, when you hear that Bitcoin is trending along the support level, right, and keeps bouncing off support, well, then we know that this support level is strong. We know that there are buyers that come in whenever price hits the support level, they come in and they buy and they push the price up. And this is how we have a ranging market, markets that just bounce around between support and resistance zones. Now, believe it or not, most of the time, most markets just range and bounce between support and resistance zones. Okay, it's only, I'm not going to name the correct percentage of the statistic of how much it actually trends. And by trending, we mean markets that go up and come down and then carry on higher, making higher highs and higher lows, right? Most of the time, markets do not trend. Most of the time, markets range, just like this. All right. So how do we find our support and resistance levels on a chart? We simply just look for areas where price is struggling to push through on either side. And that is how we will identify support and resistance levels. Okay, but now there are two other terms that we can use when we say support and resistance. Okay, we also have supply versus demand. Okay, now these are, let's keep it simple. This is the same thing. Let's give an example quickly. Let's say you are transported to a magical island and you have all the money in the world with you, right? But there is only one Apple store selling apples, and that is all the food you're going to get on the island. Okay? And let's say this Apple store only has 10 apples. And let's say there are quite a lot of humans that have been transported to this magical island, but you all have a lot of money with you. Well, what does that mean? It means that there is a high demand for food, right? The supply is low. There is a high demand for those apples because there's only 10 of them and there's a lot of you guys, right? So the price of that apple is going to be very expensive, right? Because you're all going to want to eat. So you're all going to pay whatever it takes to get your hands on an apple. That means that when the demand outweighs the supply, the demand being you really want the apples, you really need to eat, and the supply is that there's only 10, the price of the instrument or the asset or the apple is going to skyrocket and go up. That is what happens when demand outweighs the supply. Conversely, the same applies in the opposite direction. Okay, let's say you get transported again to a magical island. Whoop, right? You're there, and now there is all the food you want. All the food you want, all delicious sorts of food, whatever you like to eat. Okay, there's so much, and there's only a few humans that have been transported there. Okay, well, now the supply outweighs the demand. There's a lot. There's enough to go around. There's plenty. There's more than enough to go around. You don't need as much because there's plenty of that asset, plenty of those apples, plenty of the food, right? Therefore, the supply outweighs the demand, meaning that the price comes down. All right. So I hope this makes sense to you guys. Now, how does demand and supply become support and resistance? Well, let's go back up to our little drawing here. We can see that these zones right over here, where is my little circle? There we go. These zones right over here, okay, this is obviously a demand zone, yes, because buyers think that this specific asset or instrument, whatever you're trading, is at a good price point. There is a demand to buy this asset at this price point. Therefore, demand. Yes? Conversely, we can say the same thing about supply. When we are at a wall of resistance, the sellers come in, the supply is, they are obviously thinking a lot, and the price will come back down. This is how supply and demand zones are looked upon on a chart. This is how we see it. Okay? Now, this doesn't only work in a market that is going up and down, hitting, bouncing between these areas, right? We have areas of demand when the market is trending, just like this, making higher highs and higher lows, right? When we have markets going up, coming down a little bit, going up, coming down a little bit, the demand is high at each of these zones. This is why the price keeps getting pushed higher, right? And we call this a bull market, right? When prices keep going up, come down a little bit, there's a demand. There's a demand. People are buying. Keeps getting bought, comes down a little bit, there's a demand. People are buying, comes down a little bit. And we can say these areas right there are areas of support or areas of demand, because this is where we have seen price respect not come below, and we can see it is an area of support and it is an area of demand. This is where we want to see price pushing up higher. Okay, the same works for a bear market. This is exactly the same except going the other way. All right, let's see if we can find an example of how support and resistance works on an actual chart. So what do we have here? We are on Euro USD, right? The euro versus the US dollar on the 4-hour time frame. And let's see what we got. All right, we can use this area right here. I'm going to highlight the tops of this area in a zone format. Okay, there we go. Bring it all the way to here. Okay, and I'm going to do the same. Oh, you know what? Let's change this color. Let's make this color red because it's resistance, right? It is resistance. So we need this to be red. Come on. There we go. And let's do another one at the bottom showing support or demand, right? Areas where this price wants to get bought up, just like this. Okay, let's change this color to blue. There we go. Okay, so let's look at this closely. What do we see price doing? What do we actually see it doing? There we go. Okay, we have obviously had price come down, right? Meaning the supply is outweighing the demand. Okay, it comes down, pierces back up into the same area right here. Now this has officially become a zone of resistance. Let's put that word in there, resistance. All of a sudden I cannot spell resistance. Okay, and we're going to change this color to red as well. There we go, resistance. Okay, then we see price come down, trend a little bit higher, trying to come back up, come back up. Oh, look at that, hits this zone again. This is clearly resistance. All right, because we are trying to break through. There are a lot of bears in this area. They are pushing the price down, just like this. There's bears. They keep on pushing this price down. And this is why we have resistance. Okay, I hope you guys can see that, and I hope it makes sense. All right, then on the other side, we have bulls. We have bulls buying this asset. Let's change that color to blue. There we go. We got every time the price comes down and tests this area, we have support. Why? Because price cannot and is struggling to break through this zone right here. So we can safely say that there is a demand for the asset, right? In this area, in this zone, there is a demand. There is a support level. The bulls, which is the same as the buyers, will not let the sellers win and push the price down past this area. Okay, the sellers keep trying. This is why trading is all about the bulls versus the bears. Okay, the sellers keep trying to push this price further down. Okay, just like the bulls keep trying to push this price further up past resistance. Okay, but they are at war, and no particular side wins for the current time being. Okay, let's just put the word support there so it'll show a little bit more clearer for you guys. Right, support at the bottom, resistance at the top. All right, and we can clearly see every time price tries to come up to these levels, gets rejected all the time. This is resistance. This is what it means when we say support levels versus resistance levels. This is exactly what it is. Okay, the bulls form a support level, the bears form a resistance level. The demand for an asset is strong at this support level. Okay, the supply for an asset outweighs the demand at these resistance levels. This is why price comes down at resistance, and this is why price moves up at support. This is what support and resistance is, right? And whenever you scroll through a chart, you will see this very, very often. You will see these levels all the time. Let's look at another one here. Let's do this. At the top, we have resistance, right? Can you see how price tried to break this once, tried to break it twice? Well, there's clearly a resistance level there, right? At the bottom, we have a zone, which is clearly a support zone, right? There's our support zone, and you know what? Let's delete this and put a zone in for resistance so you guys can see it a bit more clearer. Here we go. There we go. Let's change this one to red. Okay, so look, price came up, could not take this price point out. Now look what happens when I do this. I'm stretching this resistance level all the way to the left. Look how areas in the past are still respected later, right? Look, this was on the 14th of January 2022. This was on the 4th of February 2022. Quite some time has passed, right? Quite some time has passed. Yet this area still remains one of resistance. Okay? This is still a significant area. The bulls still cannot push the price past this point. Okay? The bears are still in control here. Okay, let's carry on. We have this area here, price coming down. We're wicking into this zone all the time. This is an area of support. Okay, let's move a little bit further. We can see it even more clearly here. Let's do this. Put a zone here. Let's do one more example, guys. One more example. Okay, this is an area of support. Why? Because we can see it. Price came down. Okay, couldn't break through this price point. Came back up, tried again, came back down, couldn't break through this price point. So what is that? That is an area of support. Make this blue. There's a lot of color changing in this video. Right, let's put it in there. Boom, support. What happens again if I take this zone and I push it all the way towards the left? Look at that. Look how zones are respected over time. This happened on the 3rd of Feb, and this one on the 14th of Feb. Okay, so quite some time has passed, yet price still could not push price through these zones. This is an area of support. And what do we have up above? We have an area of resistance. That is it. There it is. Let's make it red. And one last time, let's put our word there. We got resistance. Okay. So guys, I hope this has cleared up the issue for you. I hope it makes sense. If you have any questions about support and resistance, please post them below in the comments and I will definitely get back to you. Support and resistance are all over charts. They are all over price charts. This is how trading works. It's a fight between the bulls and the bears. Okay, it's a fight between demand and supply. This is what gives any asset or instrument its price, right? If the whole world saw a certain asset, let's say Bitcoin, if the whole world saw Bitcoin through the same glasses and used the same lens, right, there would be no price differentiation. There would be no price movement. There would be no pushing and pulling between support and resistance zones because everybody would agree that the price is, let's say, $1,000. All right, let's just say that. Okay. What gives price movement is the fact that people disagree. Okay. If you think Bitcoin is worth $1,000 and someone else thinks it's worth $10,000, well, now you have a disagreement. Now you have push and pull. Now you have buyers thinking, I'm going to buy something when it hits $1,000 and I'm going to sell it when it hits $10,000. Then you'll have other bulls that think, I'm going to buy it when it hits $10,000. I'm going to sell it when it hits $20,000. This is what creates that push-pull effect in the markets. And this is why we get to trade that volatility, the ups and downs, the ebbs and flows. Okay, this is pretty much the be-all and end-all of trading. This is why support and resistance is so important, and you will see it all over. Okay, so guys, I'm going to wrap this one up for today. Please remember to hit that like and subscribe button. As always, I have posted the link to our website below in the description, along with our social media profiles. Guys, I will see you in the next video of this series. Thank you once again for watching, and I'll be seeing you in the next one. Take it easy. See you later. Bye.